Well, after Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision to recognize the two breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine, the US has tightened the noose by hitting back with sanctions against the Russia-aligned zones. The Joe Biden administration has signed an executive order that prohibits all new investment, trade and financing to the freshly recognized territories. The order also provides authorities to impose sanctions on any person or organization operating in those areas. The US president has also warned of more sanctions if necessary. The US strongly condemned Putin's decision to recognize Donetsk and Luhansk as people's republics as independent. The US representative at UNSC has said the move is an attack on Ukraine's status as a UN member state and called it a violation of basic principles of international law. A defiant Putin ordered fresh Russian armed forces to Ukraine breakaway regions to secure these regions.
Those who chose the way of violence, they admit they see no other way to resolve the Donbas crisis other than the military way. In this regard, I deem it necessary to make a decision that should have been made a long time ago, to immediately recognize the independence and sovereignty of Donetsk People's Republic and Lugansk People's Republic. And I would like to request the Federal Assembly to support, to back this decision and ratify the agreement of friendship and mutual help with both republics. We will draft this document and sign these documents in the near future.
Russia's clear attack on Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity is unprovoked. It is an attack on Ukraine's status as a UN member state. It violates a basic principle of international law. This move by President Putin is clearly the basis for Russia's attempt to create a pretext for a further invasion of Ukraine.
Well, the standoff between Russia and Ukraine is showing no signs of abating. Let's take a look at this exclusive ground report coming in from Ukraine on the simmering tensions.
Kiev now waking up to a strong action taken by the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Not only has he recognized Donetsk and Lugansk as independent republics, Russia has also sent in its forces in these regions, calling them peacekeepers. But here in Ukraine, it's being seen as the first sign of Russian invasion into Ukraine's territory. But the statement made by the Russian President Vladimir Putin is even more significant when he says Ukraine is part of Russia's culture and history, and that corruption and oligarchy has prevented real modernization and democracy in Ukraine, indicating that the current leadership is unacceptable. He also said that Ukraine cannot be permitted to be the North Atlantic Treaty Organization backyard, indicating that several Western countries that have carried out military exercises here and millions of dollars worth of Western equipment and military observers and trainers who are here are unacceptable to Russia. What does this indicate? What would Russia's next steps be? A large number of Russian soldiers are amassed at the Belarus border. That can easily target Kiev. It's just 90 miles from Kiev. On the other hand, a large number of Russian soldiers amassed at the borders on the eastern side opposite Kharkiv. And of course, now Russian peacekeepers inside Donetsk and Lugansk. Apart from, of course, the engagement that is already on in the Donbas region, where some of the best Ukrainian military fighters are engaged in combat. Now, this indicates that there is a multi-pronged offensive and Ukraine virtually in a Russian bear hug. With cameraman Pavan Kumar in Kiev, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
India Today is always first with the newsmakers. Hours after Putin recognized rebel Ukraine territories, my colleague Geeta Mohan has spoken to Russian charge affairs in New Delhi Ambassador Roman Babushkin. Listen in to what he told us.
Joining me is Russia's charge d'affaires at the embassy in New Delhi, Ambassador Roman Babushkin. Many thanks for joining us over here, sir. Let me begin by asking you, why now? Why is it that Russia decided to come out with this decree, a presidential decree recognizing Donetsk and Luhansk?
Thank you, Gita. Now comes a very historic moment, since actually for the recent decades, our concerns were not taken into account by our Western partners, and since the very beginning of the Minsk package of measures, which was actually also endorsed by the UN Security Council resolution. Right after that, no progress in implementation of this package of measures has taken place. Moreover, Ukraine was playing the Western card against Russia, and West was playing Ukrainian card in their geopolitical purposes against Russia. Of course, they want to split this region and create the situation of some sort of a controlled instability, which they also experienced to do in many other regions, including Afghanistan, including others. Now it is a critical moment, because under the recent developments, when the US and NATO allies pumped Ukraine with thousands of tons of military equipment, including lethal weapons, including openly anti-Russian exercises in the country, and deploying more and more offensive weapons closer to the Russian borders, including the anti-missile defense systems, which could be easily transformed into offensive weapons and which could reach the Russian territory, central part of Russia, within just minutes. So, of course, that presents a very serious security threat to Russia. But most importantly, of course, we, unlike other participants, so-called participants of this process, including Kyiv authorities, including those who are sitting in Washington, in Brussels, and other capitals, we do care about the people in these Donetsk and Lugansk regions, because actually they are remaining permanently in the recent time, especially under the conditions of genocide. So there is regular shelling, regular ceasefire violations, a sabotage group, who are attacking critical infrastructure units. So they made the life there impossible. There are so many tens of thousands of refugees are coming to the Russian territory in order to save their life. And this is the only way. Let me come to the conclusion, which about your question exactly. So, but it needs to be understood very clearly, and it helps to explain why now. Because actually, this is the only way to save these people, and it's the only way to show that this is the outcome of the arrogance and ignorance of the Russian demands on the equal and undivided security in the region.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has recognized 2 breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine as independent and ordered the Russian army to launch what Moscow called a peacekeeping operation in this area. Here's more.
Russian President Vladimir Putin recognized 2 breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine as independent on Monday and ordered the Russian army to launch what Moscow called a peacekeeping operation in the area. The moves further up the ante in a crisis the West fears could unleash a major war. In a lengthy televised address, a visibly angry Putin described Ukraine as an integral part of Russia's history, calling eastern Ukraine ancient Russian land, and said he was confident the Russian people would support his decision.
We demand from those who captured and hold the power in Kyiv to immediately end the combat activities. Otherwise, all responsibility for the possible continuation of the bloodshed will be entirely on the conscience of the regime ruling the territory of Ukraine.
Putin told Russia's defense ministry to deploy troops into the 2 breakaway regions to, quote, keep the peace, in a decree issued shortly after he announced recognition for Russia-backed separatists there. Moscow's action may well torpedo a last-minute bid for a summit with U.S. President Joe Biden aimed at preventing a Russian invasion of Ukraine. The White House on Monday said Biden strongly condemned Putin's decree, while leaders in Britain, Germany, France, the United States, and the EU all vowed to impose swift sanctions on Russia in response to Putin's actions.
Now, India has broken its silence amid deepening Russia-Ukraine crisis at the emergency United Nations Security Council meeting, calling dialogue as the only solution to the Russia-Ukraine crisis. India's envoy to the UN, T.S. Tirumurti, has called for restraint on all sides, and I quote, "We can't afford to have military escalation," emphasizing the vital need for all sides to maintain international peace. India has maintained its stand that de-escalation of Russia-Ukraine tensions is the immediate priority. India considers safety and security of civilians as the topmost priority, as more than 20,000 Indian students and nationals live in different parts of Ukraine. India's envoy to UN has said well-being of Indians is a priority to us. He's also said escalation of tension along the border of Ukraine with the Russian Federation is a matter of deep concern. India's firm stand comes in the backdrop of Russia's recognition of the independence of breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine. India has asked students in Ukraine to return immediately to India. At the airport in Kyiv, there's a rush of Indian students who are trying to get onto special flights that are being operated by India as regular ticket prices are soaring. Gaurav Sawant with this ground report.
Why are you going back to India?
Because of the war situation.
But on ground, and since you're living here, is there fear, is there apprehension, or is this an overreaction?
All the three. And obviously there is fear from the parents' side, so we are going back in order for them to stay calm. And obviously there is some kind of overreaction too, as such.
Okay. There are other Indian students also. Let me walk across and talk to some more students here. Tell me your name and tell me where do you study?
My name is Priyanka and I am also pursuing MBBS third course from Bukovinan State Medical University.
What about you?
Yeah, same university, fourth year.
And what's your name?
Pragya.
Pragya, why are you heading back?
Because of the situation, our parents are worried, so they're calling us back. So.
Are the tickets the same price or have you had to pay much more?
Like those who have booked the tickets before, they will have the tickets like at very low cost, and now the tickets are very high. So they are giving us the like chartered flights to India.